going to tell you why, if you're a homeowner in that area, now might be a good time to sell. And then I'm going to give you the exact playbook that we used to get 18 Maka Hou Loop into escrow in 4 days. Two of the most important things are supply and demand, and Central Maui is leading the island in demand right now. So this past week we saw 104 price reductions. Typically we're seeing 60 or 70 price reductions, but Central Maui is the only market that's not correcting. Prices are holding in Central Maui while falling across the rest of Maui. Welcome back to another episode of the Joey Musto Show presented by Team Musto. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kehalani single family home market. We're going to look at how it performed in March 2026, and I'm going to tell you why, if you're a homeowner in that area, now might be a good time to sell. And then I'm going to give you the exact playbook that we used to get 18 Maka Hou Loop into escrow in 4 days. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about the broader Maui single family home market and how it performed in March 2026. So the median days on market was 131 days, and sellers received 95.6% of list price. So those two stats aren't necessarily great if you're a homeowner who has been thinking about selling. However, when you look at Central Maui specifically, sales were up 86% year over year. That was ahead of South Maui, it was ahead of Upcountry, and it was ahead of West Maui. It was one of the only areas where prices actually rose. The median price was up 2% year over year, and in the other three major areas of Maui, the median prices were down. When you look at 18 Maka Hou Loop specifically, we had 2 offers in 2 days and we're under contract in 4. In this video, I'm going to give you the exact playbook we used to get that done. We're going to go over pricing, we're going to go over marketing, and I'm going to tell you what this means if you're thinking about selling in Kehalani. So in any market, two of the most important things are supply and demand, and Central Maui is leading the island in demand right now. Sales were up 86% year over year. That's ahead of South Maui, where sales were up 83%. And it is quite significant that Central Maui was ahead of South Maui because Kihei in particular is always one of the most in-demand areas for single-family homes and condos. And Upcountry was up 8%, and West Maui was down 5%, 57%. So more buyers are competing in Central Maui. So competition is not always a great thing. If you're somebody who's selling, most of the time it leads prices down. However, it can also be a good thing because it draws in people to the area. And that's kind of the case right now with Central Maui. 26 homes sold in March 2026. South Maui saw 22, Upcountry 14, and West Maui only 3. Now, obviously, those demand numbers wouldn't mean anything if the median prices, had fallen, but Central Maui is the only market that's not correcting. Prices are holding in Central Maui while falling across the rest of Maui. South Maui was down 11%, Upcountry 4%, and West Maui 39%. Moving forward from there, it's a little bit hard to give a conclusive answer to this question of are we in a buyer's market? But if you look at month supply of inventory, it's at 7.6 months, and a balanced market is considered 6 months of inventory. Buyers do have more options and more leverage right now, and homes are taking longer to sell. Price reductions are also increasing across the island. So this past week, we saw 104 price reductions. Typically, we're seeing 60 or 70 price reductions, and that's split between single family homes, condos, and land. So it's not just all single family homes. But yeah, we did see price reductions reach triple digits this past week. So demand is concentrated in Wailuku and Kehalani. So this was interesting because the single family home market in Central Maui is split mainly between two areas. You have Kahului and you have Wailuku, and you have some really great subdivisions and neighborhoods in Kahului. You have Maui Lani, you have neighborhoods like the Legends, the Traditions, the Greens, the Parkways, the islands at Maui Lani. So there's some real competition in Central Maui. And I was actually expecting Kahului to have been ahead of Wailuku, but Wailuku was ahead in terms of demand, 57.7%. Kahului was 42.3%. Sales were up 114% year over year. Homes are also selling faster, 107 versus 193 days. And then within Wailuku, Kehalani is leading in closed sales. It's also leading just across the board in Central Maui, ahead of Maui Lani, which is significant because if you look at the parkways at Maui Lani, there's a bunch of new builds that are going up there and they have been selling, but Kehalani outperformed them with 5 sales. It outperformed Wailuku Heights, where you have some older homes with really nice views. and it also outperformed Waikapu. In Waikapu, you have Waikapu Gardens, where there's a ton of single-family homes. The median price in Kehalani was 1.19 million, and that was $290,000 more than the Wailuku median. And three homes also went pending in March. Now, sellers are still getting near or above asking. So, like I was just talking about, price reductions have become common in the Maui real estate market. But homes in Kehalani are still selling at strong prices. Two homes of the five actually sold above asking price. Average sale was 98.7% of list price, and that's obviously higher than the 95.6 that we saw across Maui in general, but it's also higher than Wailuku at 98% and Kahului 97%. So not only did Kehalani outperform, in Central Maui, it also outperformed in terms of how much sellers received. Price reductions are rising across Maui, but not here. Only two of the five homes needed a price reduction, and I looked at those individually. They had been on the market for a long period of time. Well-positioned homes are selling without having to chase the market. Now, our strategy with 18 Maka Hou Loop, so our pricing strategy is set to maximize exposure. On the right-hand side, you can see the chart there. If the listing price is at current market value, it will appeal to 95% of buyers. If you price 5% over market, you're looking at 50% of buyers, 10% of market, you're looking at 30% of buyers, and 15% over market, you're looking at 20% of buyers. Overpricing reduces demand and it also limits competition. You want more exposure, you want to have more showings, and that will lead to stronger offers. So when we looked at pricing 18 Maka Hou Loop, there wasn't any sales in the cottages at Kehalani. Um, within the past 90 days. So we had to look at some different neighborhoods around Kehalani. And then when we actually toured the property, there was kind of two reasons that we decided to price it at a premium, the overall positioning of the home, and then the view that it offered. You could look out over Kahului Harbor and you had a view that extended all the way to the North Shore. So for those reasons, we decided to price it at a little bit of a premium. And then here's our 3-point marketing system. So we focus on three core channels: direct open houses, showings, agent outreach. When it comes to socials, obviously Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Substack. We just focus on network distribution. And then we had professional photos done, professional video was posted on the MLS, as many photos as we could get. And then it was obviously online on apps like Zillow. And then we created urgency right away. So we listed on Thursday. We had two offers by Saturday. The first weekend there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had four open houses. Luckily, this was before the weather kind of hit Maui. And then we personally invited the neighbors and local buyers, people that we knew that had been looking. And then we accommodated every showing request that came through. And the two offers that we did get um, were both from the open house that we had on Thursday, open house slash showing, because they had scheduled showings when we had the open house. So on the right-hand side there, it goes into a little bit more detail on the 3-point marketing system. Moving forward, Kehalani is one of the few seller advantage markets on Maui. So right now, if you are a Kehalani homeowner and you have been thinking about selling, I think the numbers for March 2026 kind of support that idea. Demand is building and sellers still have leverage. Homes are selling near or above asking. We saw two homes that sold above asking. It's strong demand and it's driving faster sales. So not only is it located in one of the most in-demand areas on Maui, being in Central Maui, but it's also in the Wailuku market, which outperformed even Kahului right now. So I think the demand is there for properties in Kehalani, and most of Maui has shifted to a buyer's market. If you look at the 7.6 months of inventory for Kehalani homeowners, current market conditions are favorable, and especially compared to other areas on Maui right now. So here's all of our team information. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you got value from it. Follow me on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, pretty much anywhere you can consume content, I'm there. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share the kind of videos that you guys want to see in the comment section below. And thank you everybody for watching.